Live from the universe, welcome to Spiritual Awakening with Dr. Aaron. It's time to claim your birthright of prosperity, vitality, and love. So grab your tea or coffee because together we're awakening the world. May you live your truth. Are you somebody that desires to understand how you are manifesting, how you are creating your entire world into existence right now? Are you somebody that desires to understand why you can create exponentially and have a life beyond your wildest dreams, and how you're able to create exponentially to having a life of misery and separation and loneliness and anger and frustration? Then you want to listen to this podcast. Welcome to Spiritual Awakening with Dr. Aaron. We're here to know the truth together, to live on spiritual principle and align with universal law. We're here to know the truth, truly and truly, breaking down the metaphysics of the Bible. So if you're new to this podcast, I'm Dr. Aaron, Doctor of Divinity, teaching metaphysics, teaching how the power of mind, the science of mind, how we are creators, how we are here to really experience the depths of our soul in form. So let's break this on down. So today we're going to break on down Cain and Abel's story in the Bible in Genesis. And just a disclaimer, I am not a biblical historian. I am trained and developed in the creative process and understanding the power of the mind and how we create using this. There are many different interpretations of the Bible, and the Bible has exponential ways of teaching you because the Bible is your biography. The Bible is really a manual for understanding how you create. And so this is an incredible journey we're going on of a Bible series, a metaphysical Bible series to understand thyself. So let's do this. Cain and Abel. So Cain and Abel were the first two sons of Adam and Eve. Cain was the firstborn and Abel was secondborn, right? So Cain was he was a farmer. He tended to the fields of the earth, and Abel was a secondborn and tended to the flocks of birds. He was a shepherd, right? So we're going to break this on down from universal law. And we have to understand that there's two ways that we create. One is we either create from within to without, or we create looking to the world and becoming the effect of the world, right? So here's Cain. Cain was considered the tender of the earth, right? And from the biblical standpoint, the earth means that you're looking to the external world. He's the farmer, right? Abel means breath. It means that he tended to the flocks of birds, meaning that he tended to the ethereal realm, to that within, that aspect of the self, right? To God, to divine, to that part of yourself. So Abel actually means breath. Breath is that which brings life, the source, the creative essence, the truth. Cain was considered the wicked one, which we consider the only sin is actually placing the power to the external world. The only sin is what we call missing the mark. Abel represents breath, the part of ourselves that can create from the source, from God, looking to only within, that part within us. Cain represents the wicked one, the one that is in sin, meaning the one that places the power outside of thyself, that looks to the world, okay? So this is all a story of resentment, of anger, of jealousy, of sadness, of all that stuff that we cast ourselves out from the Garden of Eden. We cast ourselves in the division from our siblings, from our family, from the world by the power of our mind. So Cain looks to the world for his self-worth, and Abel looks to God for his worth, to that part of the self, not just a man in the sky, but to the self, the God presence within. And so as we break this on down, Cain comes from scarcity, Abel comes from abundance, right? If we look to the world, it feels like there's scarcity. If we look to within, there's always infinite creation and abundance. So let's break the story on down from a second grade perspective. So here are two brothers. Cain is firstborn, Abel secondborn. Cain is tending to the earth, Abel is tending to the flocks. And what happens is Cain brings an offering to God. He brings vegetables and things, and they're not the best. And he's kind of like, he's bringing this offering to God. And Abel brings his firstborn of his sheep, right? So God looks to Cain and shows no pleasure at all. And Cain becomes angry. He believes something is in his way, right? And we're going to break on down emotions and how we actually create all of our emotions. So So here's Cain. He's brought this offering, but he's kind of disgruntled while he's doing it. He doesn't like bring pride in it. He's just bringing it to God. Abel brings his firstborn of his sheep, and God looks at Cain, showing no pleasure at all. So Cain becomes angry, right? And Cain said to Abel, to his brother, let us go to the field. And when they're to the field, he killed his brothers, right? Cain rose against Abel, his brother, and killed him. So Cain believed that he would finally find peace. Basically, changing his external world, he created his brother as the source of his suffering. If my brother was just gone, then everything would be okay. Don't we know that, right? If this problem was different out in the world, then it'd be okay. If I have enough money, then my life would be okay. If I just had, lose that 5 pounds, then my life would be okay. If my ex just was nicer, then my life would be okay. It's always about placing the blame and becoming the victim, right? Cain believed that he would finally be in peace if he changed his external world. So God comes and says, where's your brother? And Cain says, am I the keeper of my brother? And then God punishes Cain. Cain says, I know I've done wrong. And God said, I hear the cry of your brother's blood from the source of the ground. Now you are cursed from the very ground which received your brother's blood, that was received from your hands, right? So God said, from this day forward, you shall work the ground, but it will not yield food. You will be a refuge and wander the earth. And Cain said, your punishment is more than I can bear. You are banishing me from your presence. Cain, I will be a fugitive and wander the earth, and whoever finds me will kill me. And God said, no one will harm you. However, whoever slays you will be punished 7 times greater. So then Cain basically went, and he went off. He settled in what's called the land of the Nod, east of Eden. And God set a mark upon Cain so that anyone that found him would not kill him. So let's break this on down. So first of all, the point is that Cain brought vegetables and things, but he was a little bit, he was kind of disgruntled doing it, right? He believed he didn't bring there. And therefore the God represents law. God just is a reflection. The Lord is the law. The Lord is the law. And so we have to understand that the reason why God was not showing pleasure was because Cain was not showing pleasure, right? Life is just a reflection. And then when Abel came and brought his firstborn sheep with pleasure, with love, with all this, God reflected back, because the Lord just reflects what's there. So then Cain becomes angry. And so what is anger? Let's break on down the emotions of how we, Cain, create our emotions, right? If we look to source within, we just have love and abundance and all that is our godly realm. When we look to the world, so emotion goes like this. Emotions are the expressions of our value systems being met or not met. And if our value system is placed out in the world, it's never going to be met. If it's placed within, it's always met, right? They are the effect of us believing that something we value is arriving or departing or present. Okay, so we're either looking within and we're knowing that it has to be arriving because it's created from us. If we look to the world, it may be arriving or not, right? So fear is the emotion of fear, is a belief that something we value might go away, right? Grief is the emotion that something we value has gone away. Apathy is the emotion of apathy, is believing that nothing is valuable. Frustration, which Cain felt, is the emotion of believing that someone or something is getting in the way of what we value, right? He believed that his brother was getting in the way of him. Emotions are the effect of the meanings we place on people, places, and things. You're not your emotions. You are the creator of your emotions. The truth is that the extent to which we assign someone or something else outside of ourselves is the extent to which we're disempowered in our emotions. Until we're able to witness another human being without judgment, including ourselves, we will never be able to see anyone. The story of Cain and Abel is about self-judgment. It's about casting ourselves out. Really, if we know what it's like, we become isolated. We make other people wrong. We place other people as the source of our suffering. And this is our own death. This is our own shedding of ourselves of ourselves, right? It's like, this is the law, that this is 7 times over. You will experience whatever you create. This is the law. This is what is taught in all this. So again, sin is placing power outside of the self. It's missing the mark. So there's depths and depths and depths to the story, because the truth is everyone is responsible. When God asks Cain, where is your brother? And he says, am I the keeper of my brother? So this is probably the most important part of the story, which is, am I my brother's keeper? And this is a question that I ask for you, for yourself. Are you your brother's keeper? Are you the keeper of your family, your friends, the world, your family on this planet? Because you have responsibility. Everyone is responsible for the evil in Cain. Why didn't his parents teach him? Why didn't his parents teach him to not look to the world? Why did his parents favor Abel? Right? Violence is a learned behavior with children. Cain, made an offering to the Lord first, right? We're all responsible. Cain's violence is passed down from what his parents did. Adam and Eve had eaten from the tree of wisdom, right? Of good and evil. They were judging, they had a caste system within their own consciousness, and that went into their own children. The theme is that aberrated people despise good people, right? It's this law of cause and effect. And so we can look to the world and say, oh my gosh, there's Cains out there, right? They're bad, they're doing this, they're whatever. But the truth is that we're all responsible, that they're the effect of their lineage. They're the effect of all of it. So the point is that we've got to become our brother's keeper. We have to seek within to source and stop our own judgment and casting Cain out and making him wrong and doing all this. The truth is that you have both these aspects in yourself. You are able, and you also can have a crutch, right? This is kind of like the story of the two, right? That within you, you have the choice. You have the choice to seek God within, seek the source within, know and be in that love space within, or you can look to the world for your likes, right? How many of us in social media are looking to find our self-worth from how many followers we have and likes? We can look to the world and we get resentment and anger and jealous and sadness and division and judge ourselves of a better than or less than. It's all one thing. It's self-judgment. When we judge someone else, we judge ourselves. When we make someone wrong, we actually divide ourselves. Everything is cause and effect, and every part of life is showing us where are we our brother's keeper, which means where are we living in our oneness? Where are we living from knowing that we're all one thing going on? And in this, I just know the truth of that you are able to always have new. So the story at the end goes like this, which is Cain went out from the Lord's presence and dwelled in the land of Nod of Eden. And Cain knew his wife, and he conceived and bore Enosh. And then they built a city and named it Enosh, right? So this is the point, is that you can always start anew, even if you have cast yourself away from the Garden of Eden, even if you have, done something like kill someone, there's always new. You can always build from this day forward. And that is the truth. And so in this, I just say, yes, yes, yes. I'm so grateful for these great symbols, the symbology of the story of you. This is the story of you. This is the biography of you, of how you use your mind. So may you just know that as you place your power outside of yourself, you will always be disempowered. That is the truth. That is the ongoing story within the Bible of everything. May you set yourself free. May you know the truth of who you are. You are the creator. You are that essence, that God lives within you right now as the true self. So in this, I just say yes, yes, yes. As together we say, and so it is. If you're somebody who's had a spiritual calling and you really desire to embody universal law, to learn how metaphysics works, to break through your own limitation, to no longer place your power outside. Maybe you're dealing with codependency. Maybe you're dealing with scarcity in your work. Maybe you are, experiencing ill health and stress because you have not mastered your mind. Then I invite you to come into our community. I hold free breakthrough and discovery calls on Wednesday. I'll put the link below here. You can also check out all the stuff. You can binge the podcast here. You can go grab some freebies on IG. I'm draaron.tv. You can go into my bio and find all the links and start getting involved with our amazing, extraordinary community that is committed to awakening a billion people. Have a beautiful day, and may you live your truth. Thank you for tuning into the Dr. Aaron podcast. If you've had a spiritual calling or desire to get certified as a spiritual coach or a world-renowned spiritual leader, go to newthoughtglobal.com. If you've received value from this show, I would love it if you share it with a friend and give it a 5-star review. Also, we have spiritual practitioners that are trained to deliver the E4 trauma method and assist you in birthing your truth. So let's be friends on social media. Again, my handle is draaron.tv across all social media. Have a beautiful day, and may you live your truth.